Greetings, I am at chess.com battling the coaches. And oh my gosh, how did she get in there? She's not a chess coach, is she? And anyway, in this video, if you hang with me to the end, I go through all the coaches and I try some aggressive tactics. And so if you're curious about the difference between being aggressive and playing good, clean chess, maybe hang out to the end. And there's a little humor throughout my videos, and I try to explain the difference. So with that, and some of the dangers too, by the way, let's get started. It starts with Coach Daniel. Here we are with Coach Daniel. And if you're fairly new to chess, just remember to control the center and develop your minor pieces. And then after that, it'll be followed by your major pieces, is usually the idea. And in the spirit of saying that I wanted to get a little more aggressive with these coaches, the big thing that you'll need to know for being aggressive is use your pieces together. Remember that one piece by itself, even the queen, can't do much. You have to use your pieces together. And so, having said that, I've got my two knights out there, and so as you can see, I'm controlling the center a lot more gooder than my opponent, and I'm up on the Richter scale, 1.92. And so let's keep this going. This back and forth that you saw right here, one thing in chess is try not to move a piece more than once in your early game. Like if you just go here and then just come right back. Just come right back. That's usually something to try to avoid. And the reason why is because most chess games, if they're evenly matched, last 40 moves. And so if you think about that, only 40 moves. If you throw a move away, in a manner of speaking, by going here and then coming right back, that gives your opponent a real good edge over you. So that's why I said that. So always look for forks. And it's back to check. Okay. And back to check again. And speaking of forks, go back a step. All right. There we go. Stick a fork in me, JR. I'm done. As somebody once said. Who was that said that? Okay. So, again, these rapid takes that you saw me, would not happen without the aid of another piece. You have to use the pieces together. And so let's see if we can get some of this other stuff going. I can't just let this game ride on these two, the knight and the bishop. I got to get some other pieces out here. So let's get that going. Okay, so my opponent's running out of squares, as you can see. And there it is, because my queen owns this. And can't drop down here because my bishop's here. So I guess the big takeaway is using your pieces together is the thing. And this Daniel Bot 400, definitely get out there and practice using your pieces together. And we'll be going to the next bot. All right, so next bot is Coach Maybot, rated 800. And again, I'm going to try some aggressive tactics. So I'd go with the old d4, queenside this time. And usually when I start with the queenside, I usually go ahead and start developing on the queenside. And so this is something that I do a lot in my games. Is I know that was an even exchange. Let's go back and look at it for just a second here, okay? So I take this knight, and I know point-wise that's an even exchange, but my opponent has double-stacked pawns, which can hurt. So if you're new to chess, try to get little advantages like that will help you later on towards the end game. So just remember to control the center and get your minor pieces out there, followed later by your major pieces. And so let's keep this going. Now my knight was, blocking or supporting this bishop and throwing that queen out there. This is 800, so you can kind of play around. And I'll show you this here, okay? One might be saying, well, why did you do that? You were just talking about double stack pawns. But there's a greater rule in chess, too, that when you're up material, you usually just want to trade down to make it a nice, easy end game. If you're up material, you want to trade down. If you're down material, you don't want to trade down. So my opponent has two rooks. I have the two rooks, two major. I also have a minor and the queen. So with all that, I would rather trade down. That way it just it keeps becoming an easier game for me. Okay, so here I want to line up the rooks. Sometimes when you don't know what else to do, line up your rooks, get your queen out there. At least it's can start controlling some diagonals and some other squares. Now this knight is protecting that pawn. And okay, so you just want to get your pieces out there and get them to use. Remember, use your pieces together now. And okay, so that was a fork. So you got to watch out for that. So the king has to move, and then there's that. So again, these forks are killer. I'm going back, so always watch out for this kind of thing. Okay, so now should just be a matter of proper play, and there it is, because this pawn owns that, and then so this is cut off and this is cut off. So that's that, and I'm going to continue to go through the rest of the bots and continue to try more aggressive type tactics. And thanks for watching. So here I am battling Coach Dante 1200, the bot, and this is the wackiest game this side of Applebee's. If you hang with me to the end, though, you'll see a cool thing about advancing pawns and how they march up, and they're pretty unstoppable with proper play, and that's what it comes down to save my butt. So let's get to it, because this is one of the wackiest games I've ever played. I wanted to play some aggressive tactics on these coach bots, but this is just, I lose my mind on this game. Honestly, I just get too aggressive or too many splatter-ass moments. So there, I lost my bishop, as you saw, and I am down on the Richter scale. I mean, I'm just down a piece and completely losing position here. A lot of back and forth. Like I said, this is just silly. And so I do start to recover, and there. So now went from completely losing to completely winning. However, don't worry, folks, I can screw this up. It's not a problem. So, okay, and here, what the hell was I thinking? Oh, look at this again. There's check. Oh, boy. And there, now I'm completely losing again. And, yeah, and I'm just throwing away my bishop there. And so now it's me and my rook take on the world. I'm down two pieces, two minor pieces. So let's just take a look at this. And like I always tell my audience, I post my games as they are. And so in that spirit, I'm going to post my battle against Coach Dante here. And this is what I want to show you if you hang with me, is this advancing or marching pawn that can become pretty unstoppable. And so this is what I'm putting my faith in right here at this point, okay? I just have to stop these. And so anyway, let's just keep going. I want to take a look at this. Okay, let's go back a couple of steps. I want to look at this here. So here, there's two pieces that have stepped in front of my line with my major piece. So, you know, you're going to lose one of them unless you defend or something. I mean, this bishop defend this position. So, but that's check and it has to be dealt with. So now my opponent loses both. But I'm still down a piece. Richter scale has me way down. I really got a proper play. You know, no more fooling around. Got to watch what I'm doing. I've got to promote a pawn here. You know, this is enough silliness. I got to get it together. And so my rook's under attack by the knight, so that should be pretty simple. Oh no, what am I doing? So I don't know. So like I said, now it's about even. So but I got to advance these pawns in the proper way. And so here they come marching up. And there it is. And that is a fork, by the way. So there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and pin that knight to the back rank. And then smother it in there. And that's it. That's mate, because my queen owns all of this. And so then my king owns this. So that's it. I was able to recover from Coach Dante there. And so anyway, like I said, pretty wacky game, but maybe this will give you some ideas on advancing pawns. And as always, thank you so much for watching. So this is a very aggressive game against Coach Monica Bot at chess.com. And it's rated 1600. I played the white pieces, and I wanted to, with these bots, I love playing these bots, love to be aggressive and see what happens. Now, I will tell you, 1600 is about the highest ELO that I can get this aggressive with. Especially when I get to the 2000 ELO, I have to pay attention, and these aggressive tactics don't work. I'm not strong enough. Stronger players can do that at a 2000 ELO, but for me, 1600 is about as strong as I can get with aggressive tactics. So let's take a look at it. I think you'll enjoy it. D4 is how I started, and I thought I'd start off developing the queen side and trying to control the center. And it's a battle for the center here. And here, computer says I made a mistake, and that's true. I mean, the computer knows way better than I do. But at the same time, the computer doesn't know what I have in mind. Usually what I have in mind is, like I said, can be a mistake. So I always analyze my games, and that's the point of this video is. So right now I'm a pawn up, but they are double stacked. But still, I should have, protected this pawn with this bishop instead of trying to kick that knight out of there. Because now we're even up on pawns, which is still okay. And like I said, trying to control the center, this doesn't really do much, but I'm trying to lay down a heavy attack on the king side, which I normally, so I did this little fanchetto that I like, but I normally would try to castle on the queen side, but I end up castling on the king side. I wanted to go back one step and look at this. I like this little fork. It's easily defended, but I like doing this in this position. I do that a lot in my games. Okay, so yeah, I should have probably just gone ahead and took that, but let's take a look at some things here. And so I did go ahead and kingside castle. Originally, I was planning on queenside castle, but here in just a minute, I'm going to lay down some heat. And part of the thing about trying aggressive tactics, it's a lot of fun, But the main thing is you got to get your pieces out there, and you have to have them working together. I've tried some aggressive tactics where I end up losing a minor piece and it's just my queen left or something. Your queen will get picked off. It'll be gone. One piece by itself, even the queen can't do much. So the trick is to use your pieces together. And here the computer says this is a blunder, and it is check and it's forked, but it's easily dealt with. But this is kind of the key to what I wanted to try at 1600, and you'll see it all come together here pretty quick. Okay, so there's that. So now I've got two pieces that are working together, and this can swing over to the king side pretty easily, because this right here is deadly. This is what I'm eyeballing right here, okay? I want to use my bishop and my queen together on the king side, and that's the point to this video. Okay, so now as you see the Richter scale rising up in my favor. Here it comes. Now it's inevitable. And my aggressive tactics usually don't work if I go higher than the 1600s. So now there's nothing it could do, and that's it. So anyway, a very aggressive little game. It did work out for me. It doesn't always. Depends what ELO I'm playing at. So anyway, a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Greetings. I'm at chess.com going through the coach bots, and this is the last one, the Coach David rated 2000. And if you hang with me to the end, this is a pretty fascinating game. A lot of mudslinging back and forth between me and Coach David, but I do squeak out a win, and I mean squeak out a win, but a lot of learning tips. And the biggest problem I had is I got too aggressive with this bot, and but I did end up recovering. And if you're fairly new to chess, just remember, try to control the center. Here, the queen exchange, but I feel like it ends in my favor because my opponent loses the right to castle. And so at 2000, I'm just looking for any little advantage. And here's the difference between aggressive tactics and just good fundamental chess is I'm not really strong enough to lay down a lot of heat at 2000 ELO. I just have to play good, clean chess and take my time with it. But here, if you've seen my other videos with the coaches, then you see that I try to get pretty aggressive. And so, in the lower ELOs, maybe one might want to do something like this and fork the rook and the king. But stuff like that doesn't really work at 2000 ELO, but I insist on trying anyway, and it ends up, I end up regretting it. Put a hard pin on that bishop, and this was just really bad. I was trying to open this up and then use my rook and my bishop together. You have to use pieces together, especially if you want to be aggressive. And not a bad idea, but obviously I'm just trying to force it to happen here, and even willing to sacrifice a piece to make it try to happen. And this is just no good for me, and big mistake on my part. And I'm just, this is one of my weaknesses in chess that I have to work on, is I see this in my head and I just refuse to let it go. And so, watching me fail at it, maybe it could help you. And so I'm wanting to go here with the knight, okay? Because then, there you go. It's over. So, I just, it's difficult to do because here I'm in check. I have to deal with it. I'm in check again, and I have to deal with it. And now I'm in check again. By the time I'm done with all this getting out of check business, there you go. I lost my knight. So that'll learn me. Now I lost my bishop. So I like to play play my games and then I like to just show them as they are. So in the spirit of that, this is, what it is. And so I'm down 2 minor pieces. I just have my 2 major. My opponent has 2 major and 2 minor. Pawns are equal. Okay, if you're new to chess, remember a pawn is not a piece in the world of chess. It is a pawn, not a piece. Okay, so I like to get rooks lined up, just something. I mean, I've got to play some nice clean chess here and get things going. Now this here, this double rook on the 7th, this is also called pigs on the 7th. If you're new to chess and you don't know, maybe just because they can swing back and forth and just eat anything that gets in their way. So they nicknamed this pigs on the 7th. So if you hear somebody say that, then at least I want my audience to be aware of that. And so you can see they swing back and forth, but this knight now comes to kind of stop this action. And I tell you, I'll show you something here in just a minute. So this is with this knight here, this is not going to work. If I could get rook here and here, it's mate, except for this knight. So I've got to do a different tactic. Okay, so here I have an absolute pin, or as I sometimes call it, a hard pin on this knight, and my rook is far enough away from the king that I don't have to worry about it per se at the moment. And I'm sorry for my dog in the background. Every time I make a video, I think he or she, and the big one too, wants to get involved, and that's fine. And so I'm loving this pin at the moment, but I had to get my rook out of the way here. So, okay. And so I want to show what finally turns it around for me is this right here, because you should always look for, like, is your king lined up with something, or is there situation where you have 2 pieces lined up in a bishop, like this, for example. Like this would be beautiful with these 2 rooks lined up. Can you get a bishop in the action? Well, these knights would obviously take care of that, but if these knights weren't here, stuff like this is what you should look for. But this is the thing I want to point out. As soon as the king steps out of the way, it's hammer time. Okay. And so now there's check, and I do realize this is here, but I keep wanting to throw down some checks. And then I honestly forgot about it. If I'm being honest, I forgot about this situation. I just was hoping for take, and then an easy promotion, quasi easy. But I honestly did forget about that. So, and there it is. So, okay. And so when you're promoting, you want to put your major piece under your pawn and then go up. If you don't have a major piece, you got to get your king on top of the pawn to promote. And so I am trying to get my king to help, and that's where I'm at right here. And I do make some mistakes, and I'll show you. And it might help. 2 knights can be deadly. I do have to be careful. So it does make me a little gun shy. I obviously should have started swinging over this way. There, I finally figured it out. Okay. So I just want to show this for just a minute. I did take this thinking that it would be take, and then I'd be free to promote. But at 2000, it's like, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. So here, I should have probably just went here, and but anyway, I didn't. I got my king on top of that pawn too much, but I finally figured it out. Okay, so it finally comes back to this same position that I should have done. Was that 3 moves ago? And so now here we go. Finally, all that mishigash is out of the way, and I'm finally free to get this queen, because this is my only saving grace now at this point. So there it is, and here's where I want to show where I do some goofy stuff. Here, I missed an opportunity for a fork. If I went here with the queen, I mean, I can start getting rid of these pawns. Because if you saw some of the other videos where I made with these coaches where I talk about 2 advancing pawns are pretty unstoppable, as you're about to see. But this would have resolved that situation, and I just missed it. And so, and now here comes the problem. So now I've got to get my king in the game, and I do eventually, but I ding-dong around. There, I finally start to move the king into the game. And I do have to be careful. One thing that you want to watch out for is, you would not want to put your king here. Okay? Because that would be a fork, and now you're completely losing. So, no more ding-donging around. I know what I got to do.
I know what I gotta do. I gotta clean up my act. No more joking around all the time. No more slacking off at work. And most important, no more booze. I know I can do it.
I got to play good queen chess. And so that's what I'm after. I can't go here, obviously. Every move I'm watching for a fork, because that's what my opponent's waiting for. And there we go. Now there has to be a movement. And so the king finally stepped away. Take with my king, because I can't leave this. And so there it is. Now I want to show you at the end what I do with my major piece is just build a box and make it smaller and smaller every opportunity I get to make that box smaller, and then get the king in to help. So you see I cut this off even further. And what you want to do is get this king down on the bottom rank, and there it is. So I had a chance to pin the king on the bottom rank, so that's what I did. Now you want to watch out for stalemates, so make sure your opponent has the ability to still move, so you don't have a stalemate. Get your king over there to help out, and then boom, there it is. Okay, so the biggest takeaway is, don't get too aggressive. If you want to try to get aggressive, that's cool. Playing these bots is a lot of fun, but just remember to get your pieces out there and use them together. Otherwise, forget it. There is no attack. If you see a line of attack, you have to be openly positive and mentally flexible to change your tactics. And I saw something, and it would have worked at one time, and I did not budge from my tactic. I saw it in my head, and that was almost my downfall. I did recover barely. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this game. Hope it helps develop ideas, helps me develop a lot of ideas. A lot of fun, and as always, thank you for watching.